I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, May 8th, 2024 Townsend Conservation Commission meeting at 7:01 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Jim DeRoy.
James Gates.
Pat Gilmore.
Do you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, I have not. Ladies and gentlemen, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't know I was Kevin's alternate on that, but I'm up
So
to
you have it.
Clerk.
and yeah.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. We are going to remove 2.3 and push that to next week because of a conflict.
The OOC extension request?
Yes.
Okay.
Conflict of interest.
Yep.
And we are going to add 3.2, 42 and 22 West Meadow Road, determination clarification.
That was what you texted me.
Chair report. Last night at town meeting, we were successful in our warrant for $5,000 for education, education, public outreach, and training for the Conservation Commission. So that's big for us. Because we blew through our budget relatively quickly with just our day. 3.6, review approved meeting minutes from 4:10 and 4:24. Copy in here? Because I caught something when I was reading it earlier.
Oh, yeah. There should be a copy in.
Ronnie.
Excuse me, would anyone like to screen share?
No, we're all set, Hartley.
Thank you.
Right now. I can send it to you. It was minor.
Okay.
I don't think that was just 410. It was that.
Yeah.
So we do not have 424.
Nope.
Okay. So did everyone actually, we'll move the 410 minutes to the next meeting so that I can write down what I
We're
said.
not approving them tonight.
Well, there's a revision.
All right.
And I
Yep.
looked at it in my email and I didn't. So, is everyone okay with us?
I'm good. You want to vote?
No, we're doing your vote. We're just gonna move it.
Yeah.
Agent report 1.7.
Oh. 2.3 is out, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, my agent report covers April 24th to May 8th. We had building permit sign-offs for 22 Laurel Woods Drive and 43 Haynes Road. Board of Health interdepartmental signatures for 20 Main Street, McDonald's, and 187 North End Road. I did a site visit to 66 Bayberry Hill Road for pre-construction, and current requests are for an order of conditions extension at 132 Pierce Road, and current NOIs are 65 Adams Road and 88 Meadow Road. We had an open space and rec plan was just submitted to EEA on 4/24. Order of conditions, let's see, violations. There was a violation paid for 108, 112 Meadow Road. The first violation was paid, and he came into our office and noted that he uses a PO box system, so that's why at the last meeting he hadn't paid the fine, because he didn't get the notice from us for a few weeks after he checked
Is
his
that 108 West Meadow or Meadow Road?
West Meadow.
West Meadow.
And then I emailed Unitil about sending over those MSDS.
MSDS.
Yeah, MSDS
The chemicals and
sheets.
what the data reports are on them, so we
Yep.
know what they're putting down if there's questions asked.
And to let us know, notify us before they're spraying so that we can post it on the website and notify people. And then I also sent a letter on behalf of the Conservation Commission regarding a need for improving the permitting process for open space restoration and trail work that we discussed at last meeting.
Thank you.
Sure.
707, so we need to move down the list. We'll read through the correspondence, ZBA decision for Three Wheeler Road. For your review attached, please find a copy of a special permit granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals at their meeting of April 17th, 2024 for continuing operations of the existing earth excavation operation referenced above. That is Three Wheeler Road Assessor's Map 4, Block 9, Lot 0.
What's your thoughts, me? Yeah.
Four point two. What?
That's what we're talking about.
What?
Wheeler Road.
We aren't talking about it. It was just a correspondence.
All right.
4.2 Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, MRPC GIS map creation for known CONSCOM jurisdictional areas in Townsend. Good afternoon. We are excited to announce that our department is teaming with Montechusett Regional Planning Commission for a GIS project for CONCOM. MRPC will generate one, a map of the town which outlines known areas jurisdictional to CONSCOM from the list below, and two, provide a list of properties intersecting with any of these jurisdictional areas that can be utilized for education and outreach. The list of areas within CONSCOM jurisdiction to go into a map: wetlands and 100-foot buffers, vernal pools and 100-foot buffer, intermittent streams, dashed lines on USGS topos and 100-foot buffer, perennial streams, solid lines on USGS topos and 200-foot riverfront area buffer, ponds, open water with 100-foot buffer, unless with 200-foot buffer from any pond or lake which is 5,000 square feet or larger in the area and has either an inlet or outlet which is a mapped perennial stream, and a pond or lake of any size which has both an inlet and an outlet which are perennial streams. And then the 100-year FEMA floodplain and 100-foot buffer. MRPC plans to use mass.gov public information such as DEP hydrography, FEMA flood hazard, and USGS topographic quadrangles layers for this project. This is an exciting project, and I look forward to presenting the deliverables to the commission later this month from Jess. Jess, do you have anything you want to add to that quick?
I don't. It's just an awesome email or awesome project that we have some mapping hours with MRPC on. So if you guys are sort of familiar with how the zoning maps throughout the building are, they have, different colors for the different zoning designations, and then things like the aquifer protection overlay have a diagonal line hatching, things like that. So we're basically going to get a map that's very similar in that regard, that outlines all those areas that are jurisdictional to CONSCOM, so that it's a kind of an easier reference for our residents.
Thank you.
Good evening.
I need to step out for a second. Can you have Autumn read that one, please?
Oh, there's one.
Hey.
I
want me to read that one in front of
reading
you?
4.3, please.
No, can I borrow your document there? I just make one copy of the correspondence. Oh, this is a technical memorandum from MRPC, which summarizes efforts in CY 23 regarding the compliance toward Section 3A of the Zoning Act mandate. This mandate requires MBTA communities to have at least one area zoned to allow for dense multifamily housing. So, please distribute this memo to boards and committees and do not hesitate to contact me. So this is from Jessica regarding the MBTA community zoning within Townsend. So it goes in depth about that. If anyone would like to read it or has any questions about it, you can reach out to Jessica or and I can share this memorandum with you.
I apologize. We had a cow out.
And there's done that a good many times over the years.
I'm not complaining. The security camera told me it was an animal. I couldn't believe it.
Hi, sorry folks, if I can chime in real quick. Kevin, if you can announce that you're here and what time, please.
Kevin Smith present. Tardy at
It was 7:10.
7:10. I took care of the Pledge of Allegiance, Ken. Thank you for that. You know it.
Is it too late to put 2.3 back on now that Kevin's here?
No,
We're not going to talk full hold out on that, but we're going to have 2.3 back now that Kevin's here.
Yep.
7:14. Again, thank you for reading that. We're going to move on to 2.1 notice of intent. TWB 2024-174 DEP number 3080707. Dillis and Roy Civil Design Group on behalf of Timothy Sylvan. Location 65 Adams Road. Project status. The proposed project is for the removal of several outbuildings, sheds, and a garage. Single family home, septic system, and utilities. The construction of a septic system. Work will take place within the 100-foot buffer zone, probably bordering vegetated wetland. On file with DEP, April 1st, and we have received your number and your comments.
Yes. So last time we were here, Commission asked me to make some changes and some additions. We have put the inlet and the outlet of the existing CMP on here. You'll see that the erosion control is the same along this stretch of driveway, but these darker red lines, and it's noted on the plans that this will be silt fence down to about here, wattles up to here, and then the rest of this will be silt fence around, as we talked about, being the most susceptible areas to any erosion.
Anything blowing,
Right,
all outside of where the outbuildings are being torn. Beautiful.
correct. They'll be all along the outside. We also, and I added the detail for the silt fencing as well. We also added a water main crossing in here. DEP's comments were talking about the replacement of this. It is not going to be replaced. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. We're going to be going over that with the water main. We're proposing 1.5 inches. Water service rather, over this, layering it with sand and rigid foam over the top of that.
For insulating, obviously, with the.
Yeah, because we're going to be less than 5 feet coming over this,
For the
and then
freeze.
freeze from underneath
Right.
through the
it'll come
pipe, and then from the top down. So we're going to be,
up. Okay,
you'll see the water main right in here, and then we've got sand, a couple layers of sand in between, sandwiched in between the rigid,
Mhm.
just to protect that,
From,
so it won't freeze.
all right.
Yeah. Our intention is not to
Yeah, then the.
Disturb.
do any of that.
No,
and that's
no
what we can
disruption
do.
at all in any of the wetlands
Right,
there at all.
and we're gonna be not, this is gonna be 5 feet into the ground here, but we're gonna be less than 4 feet here, just about 4 feet,
That's fine.
so.
So you think the culvert has good longevity left?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be,
What is it, concrete?
CMP,
Oh, same.
we're good, yeah.
okay,
And I mean, again, it's under 5 feet of driveway now, so it's been weight protected all these years
Yeah.
from traffic and all that, so.
so that's all the better, less disturbance at the bottom in that area of the wetlands.
Exactly.
As long as it's not gonna pose a problem with that water line freezing.
Yep.
Small line, but
But
Then
still,
everything up there is good.
Potential.
Changing that to silt fence.
Yep.
That's a good idea up there as well, because you get a little blowing, stuff blowing when they're doing demo, and we find that many of those areas that we can, the silt fence is, taller, usually catches any of that stuff. You don't want it blowing into the wetlands or blowing into the neighbor's property, in that case up there.
well, this all
Available.
slopes this way, so
down would be-
whatever's gonna happen, it's either
Yeah,
gonna go
gonna
this
go
way
down.
or it's gonna go down this way.
The prevailing winds always blow this way.
Yeah, or for demo
Up on the
purposes,
hill,
yeah.
yeah. As far as things blowing.
Yep.
That's good.
but all the silt work has been upgraded, you're gonna countersink all the heavier up above, down here and below.
As per the details, so.
Mhm.
It's good.
As requested.
Everything, you amended it as we requested. I don't have anything to add. Pat, do you have anything?
No, it looks good to me.
Autumn?
Looks like everything's there.
And I gave Autumn a couple of revised copies today. I think I sent her a PDF of the change yesterday, so.
Yep, looks good.
So what's your recommendation, Autumn, on this?
Standard order of conditions with any special conditions that we may suggest.
Well, special conditions are outlined on the plan.
And I
agree.
think they were already spoken about and returned.
Yeah. So
Kevin, you wanna do, what do you want me to do? Standard order of conditions?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Go back to. All right, I'll motion that we do a standard order of conditions for Dillis and Roy Group.
you gotta approve it.
Approve the plan.
Approve the. You can motion to approve
Issue order of conditions.
issue an order of conditions, waiting for that to pass for the address. DEP number.
Right, I was gonna do that next. Is that, you're all set?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the rest of the sirens to go by.
I think it's cows out.
Hope not.
It's been a busy day for those boys.
All right, then I can do it.
Yeah, also moved it.
Make a motion to order standard order of conditions, for 65 Adams Road, DEP number 308-0707, TWB 2024-174. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
James Brian Poole.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Generally, yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Jack?
Nice to see you, Jack.
Kevin, I sent you an email earlier, so,
For tomorrow?
yeah, no.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Easy work. We'll do that later. Autumn, did you have a printout of the, 5.1 MACC courses offered throughout May?
No, I didn't because they have their website and I put the link to the website because I
Okay.
think that's where the calendar is located and that's where you register.
Okay.
So I want to keep that on the agendas moving forward for anyone that might be interested, but.
Kevin, are we good
Yeah, I'll look.
or, 6.0 item, well, came 6.0, because we still have 10 minutes. Items for discussion at the next meeting. So COMSCOM volunteer opportunities and outreach is on there, and then website updates, organization, forms, and checklist. Autumn's been working on forms to simplify missions. Pass them out along with other forms. We also, I'd like to discuss our regulations and the need for a PE on signed, a PE to sign the submitted plans. The state does not require it on notice of intents. I feel that we should follow that. Their guidelines. So we can talk about it next meeting. And we can't vote on it because we have to have a hearing and everything. Is there anything else? There was one other thing we wanted to talk about next meeting.
I'm not sure what the other thing is, but the documents that the drafts of the documents that I've come up with are in there to share. NOI checklist. So people come to me, residents, and they're wondering about the many questions about the NOI process,
Helping
the
them.
requirements. So I
I
have
think this
this,
is a great way to simplify things for the,
I hope
you
so.
know, for the people when they come in.
Notification of,
yeah.
to a butters checklist.
And yeah, that's.
It does, it gets overwhelming for them,
Right.
and they don't know which way to turn. Nice.
So if you have any feedback,
good.
you can write right on there and share it with me. We can talk about it next meeting.
And like you had mentioned, how some of the other towns formatted, put it together, it's a lot more digestible, absorbable. and
Yes and
understandable.
no. We looked at that right before you came back, and I remember Stan was part of that conversation one night. You look at Lunenburg and it's like a menu. You pick what you're doing, and then you have Ride, which is kind of what we were trying to follow.
Which is what, more straightforward
It's a
and
check,
standard?
it's a straight checklist of all the things they require on their plans. So it was, I think.
Fairly simplified as well.
I think that we get a
So-
lot of questions about the fee schedule as well. People are not sure what category they fall on into. So I assist with that a lot also, just so you guys are aware.
So that's another thing, if you feel that we need to adjust that.
Yeah.
We can discuss that. We've done it I think
I know you.
twice in the last 2 to 3 years. And if it's gonna make it easier for you, make it easier for the general public, to understand it.
Really should go hand in hand. Better for them, more understanding for them, it's gonna be less explanation
So,
needed coming from you. It works in both directions.
so those are things that we were looking to discuss. I can't remember the other one. So. Okay.
Just seems to see how Littleton presents theirs when I go there. I'll make it a note to see.
Sounds good.
I don't, we're 2 minutes before 7:30. I have 3 minutes before. Can we all? everyone-
You wanna run through one more?
No, we picked through all the easy stuff.
I got it.
Sorry, we had another minute just talking. 2.2 is 7:28 PM. This appointment's for 7:30. We're gonna start it now. Notice of intent, Townsend Wetland Bylaw 2024-170 DEP number. We do not have a completed permit number yet. Applicant is David Schaefer. Address is 88 Meadow Road. The notice of intent application is for replacement of a driveway culvert within a resource area with impacts to land underwater bordering vegetated wetlands. This is after the fact filing. Mr. Schaefer is joining us, and if you don't mind talking to us about, you had a representative from DEP.
Yeah.
Come this Friday.
Yeah, DEP stopped by, 3 people from DEP stopped by to take a look, and essentially David Wong, who is in the Waterways Division, he'll be doing a water quality certification. They now consider any excavation below the high water mark, the annual high water mark, to be dredging, which was a surprise.
David, who else was there? Was David Wong?
He had an assistant, and Alice Smith.
Alice Smith?
Yeah.
Do you know Autumn who was?
Alice Smith called me to invite us, and that's the only person I knew that would be there. So it's nice that David was also present.
Yeah, and there was an intern.
Okay,
David Wong had an intern.
Kristen.
okay,
I can't remember her
that's
name.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one
So-
of the kids from the college. All right.
Okay.
David Wong was interested in when the washout occurred, how much material was actually in the stream and whether or not any, additional remediation for the material that got washed out was required. And when he looked at it, he basically said, well, looks like it'll assimilate. So he
Yeah, it
wasn't,
was very bony gravel.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it
silty.
was, no, it was all sand and small gravel.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even silty stuff. Very granular, so.
Correct, that's what and it's the same fill material that they used to backfill around the foundation and whatnot. So, but the problem was when the bottom of the culvert released, you had this reservoir of non-cohesive sand that was washing out and continued to, anytime there was a decent increase in flow, you get more sand washing out. It was uncontained. There was no way to control it at that point.
Okay, so, what other feedback besides looking at the
Okay,
siltation?
in terms of the meeting the requirements for the water quality cert, I have to collect some samples for grain size distribution, which we're in the process of bringing GZA on to actually. So he needs a sampling plan that he can approve, and then we'll collect the samples to keep that process moving forward. And to do a environmental due diligence review. 75% of the contributory area is all forested, so we've got the North 40 farm at the top. But, looking at the Mass GIS site, all of the, there's some gas stations that have had leaks and whatnot along 119. Not so.
So they want to try to
Hmm?
measure, see if they pick up on anything.
Well, what the concern, as soon as you start talking about dredging and dredge material disposal, there's
So
all kinds of,
there's a concern with the backfill material, is what you're saying?
no, I
Is
think,
that-
if I'm hearing this right, there's a concern because you excavated below the mean seasonal high water mark, correct?
yeah, the annual high water mark is what,
So you cleaned out
that's about a half full culvert.
so you cleaned out the organic material that was obviously underneath there to get to a permeable structural base to put the pipe back on. And in doing that, you went below the elevations, and now DEP is saying that that's considered dredging.
Yes.
That's new to me.
Well, so when the original
Excuse me.
culvert,
I thought he established it wasn't dredging. He was trying to determine if it was.
no,
Stan looks like he has something to.
We're learning. And when we dig test holes every day.
when they put in the original pipe, I think they crossed the stream probably at the narrowest location you could
That's
cross.
the best place to do it back in those days.
And
Driveway lined up, everything's good.
and they simply laid the pipe down and backfilled it with sand to secure the pipe.
Right.
And then
Which
they put in a head wall.
Either side, yeah,
which is
retaining
made
wall.
out,
that wall.
which is made out of boulders.
Steel and stone, correct?
Okay, so, but with this annual high water mark, what it is, and they even analyzed it on the gauge at Squanicook River at Groton. Okay, where, they take measurements of flow and they take the highest flow of every year over a 20-year period, and then take an average of what was the highest flow recorded over a 20-year period. And so now they know and they call that the annual high water elevation or a high water flow for the Squanicook River at Groton, okay? And then they also looked at, okay, what is the typical stream width? What is the typical stream depth? And, basic characteristics. So, but they're all trying to key in on what is this average annual discharge value, so that they can then use the average annual discharge flow as the reference point for determining whether or not you're excavating or dredging. Okay. So, and that's how they, that's how it's defined. Yeah, that's how it's defined.
Okay,
We're here for a straightforward emergency condition.
no, not
That was
emergency,
got-
it was deemed
This was for a
non-emergency.
culvert to be replaced. We identified that that the bottom of this culvert had transpired, it was rotted. Loose materials flowed through it. Some of the turbidity went downstream. It was identified. We realized what the solution to it was to be, to replace that culvert in the same way it was when we started. I don't understand where we've gotten to a point where we're talking about water purification for one, and all these testings, it's gotten to a point where it's dredging. We brought in some of the main players with the DEP.
Yeah, but look
From one
at
of the
the dredging,
most-
look at the dredging volume. It is so small.
I don't
Non-existent.
understand where the verbiage has come into this
Pretty
and
much.
why it's gotten to the point where
So,
I've gone up there for 3 sidewalks for the most simplest project I've probably seen come to this board. And it's gotten to a $4,500 fine. We've got phenomenal information, Mr. Schaefer, that you've accrued it and presented to us. It's amazing. You are very inept in it, in what's going on. I have no idea why it has gotten to this point. I will say no more.
Well, we certainly prevented the bad situation from getting worse and allowing it to go also. But there are stream crossing standards in Massachusetts, and the only thing that was authorized by the Conservation Commission was basically put in the 2-foot diameter.
we didn't put a size on that. I know
It
that.
was a replacement.
And I myself looked at it as an emergency because of the elderly situation at your home. Bottom of the pipe was completely compromised, could have crushed at any time. I looked at that. Shoot me if I'm wrong. I looked at it as, all I could imagine is your mom, his mom, trying to get a fire truck over there, getting an ambulance against the
Yeah.
building and having a
We
fire
were-
truck collapse the driveway,
We-
and the
we were-
ambulance can't get
We
up.
were concerned about, what would happen in the winter, because we basically weren't driving over it. We were parking above it, but then we'd have 3 vehicles parked above it, and then you can't plow, then you can't, there's nowhere to put snow. So we were,
Emergency services has to have access, if in any way possible, have access to your home.
well,
Been a fire.
Okay, I'm gonna-
that was
okay,
our,
And
that was our.
I'm just,
Reel this in,
yeah, let's reel it in, because
because the way we worded it was, if you feel the need or feel that this is a true emergency, to proceed and to backfile. Again, it was a two or 3 month period between that statement and the work being done, and then to receiving it was over a month, because we had gave you a 1 month window to file after it was installed. So you have a 3 month window to file the paperwork, and we didn't receive it for, actually, I think it was 2 months. Regardless, during that time, you accrued fines, We have to continue this tonight regardless because we do not have a file number.
DEP number, we're
We
still
do not
short of. And it's been,
Autumn did talk to DEP today regarding this, and they weren't ready to issue.
Yeah, they didn't,
Comments,
they
yeah.
hadn't reviewed it yet,
so
but she did run through the
you
stream
answered my
stats. with
question. It's
me.
under reviews, which is holding up this
So
DEP number.
that, and you're working
Under
on
the
the water
water
quality certificate as well.
Is that a part of it?
Yeah, we
Water
brought on
quality is a different
GCA.
office.
We
Okay.
brought on GCA. We had, DEP also requested a more formal wetlands delineation. We had, a wetland specialist come out and delineate. And that was really to, again, establish this annual high water mark elevation, along the stream channel. And I've read a lot of documentation since this began. At any rate, it's an intermittent stream. A lot of the indicators just don't exist, so we needed someone more professional to be able to identify them.
No, and that's fine. I agree with Jimmy that this seems to have been blown way out of proportion at this point, as with the requirements. But we still end up, Autumn.
Or would you mind sharing the delineation with the commission once you receive it?
A gentleman by the name of Matthew Merrow did set all the flags, and he tried to locate them using kind of a rudimentary GPS system, and he sent me the flag locations, but they were nowhere close to being accurate. They were, one was off by 30 feet in one direction, and it was just a hodgepodge. So
So was the,
If you're gonna do-
was he a wetlands
I think
scientist?
he is certified as a wetland delineator.
Yeah,
because he
he
was
thought-
utilized on another project,
How about some simple-
on
how about
Benton
some simple-
Pond. So you're saying that maybe there was a disconnect, his points weren't accurate, so you don't want to share
Standing on the
them?
culvert.
Is that what you're saying?
well, they weren't accurate.
Okay,
Because what you could do is superimpose his points on top of the 1 foot contours. And
They didn't jive.
oh, some of the flags that are delineating the mean annual high water mark were outside the stream channel. I mean, it just.
So to answer the question, Autumn, he doesn't feel comfortable based
Okay.
on
Well, no, that's
the
why
deliverable.
GCA is going to come out with.
Oh,
And
okay.
approach
I'm more-
it and get accuracy.
We're trying to get them accurately identified.
So when we do get them accurately, we'd be happy to share them.
that would be great.
And we're gonna have them actually generate the map.
Jimmy?
'Cause I don't have
Did we-
GIS.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, keep going. I just have a question. Did we originally ask for a delineation on this with the NOI or any of this?
It's part of the,
Did we
it's
have
part
to
of the
have asked for?
regulations,
Well,
but it's
What
not
are
us
the guidelines
requesting
of a
it.
replacement? It would have to be redone. When there's no work being done on the waterways, there's no increase or decrease of the culvert size. Everything was replaced
But you have.
perfectly
you
the
have
same
stream-
way it was
But you
there.
have stream crossing standards.
Nothing changed and we request a delineation.
So the only way that DEP feels that
I
statement
understand.
is valid is if you're crossing a gas line, a water line, any sort of utility that you can't move.
Mhm.
That's what allows you the
And-
in-kind
and
replacement, but
those
that's still a
standards, yeah.
limited notice of intent. This, because you don't have any gas or water lines going up your drive, that's unfortunate. The DEP wants existing culverts
Pertinent
to-
information, I understand.
to be sized appropriately. And I think from what I gather, the state's using Mr. Schaefer almost as an example to figure out some of these calculations on these smaller projects. or collecting data. So because he was replacing it, it has to be upgraded to stream crossing standards.
So we're gonna have
If there's
GCA.
anyone else in the room that can word it better, if I missed anything, please, I forgot.
We're gonna have GCA locate the flags,
That's okay, so the
plot them
answer,
up.
So the answer
Make sure
is-
that the delineation is done
Okay.
correctly. We're gonna have, I've forwarded them a copy of the notice of intent. But we're gonna take a hard look at what was done and whether or not there's any other options and alternatives. Now, until they see the actual installation and what the constraints are, they wanted a hard look at that. So we broke it up into a two-phase effort. Where they come out, they do all this background field work and make sure that they get the flags in the right place, do the mapping, collect the samples to satisfy the water quality cert, and then develop a detailed memo in terms of, okay, how do we move forward? And what is the appropriate way of, how do we scope something out to be able to move it forward?
all right,
So
so
that's the process.
do
And then with
you,
GZA.
do they have a time frame on when they can have,
I haven't gotten the date certain yet, no.
so we need it, we will continue this to future date. I'm gonna get back to that part though. We'd like to discuss the fines, that have totaled, $4,500. And we like to understand how you plan on, settling up essentially, because we have, and Pat, I'm sorry if I'm checking with you. So I'm gonna let the commissioners ask questions, Autumn, or Jessica, feedback, questions, concerns, statements, and then Mr. Schaefer can, or we open to him. So, Jimmy?
We're gonna get a $4,500 fine from this. Can we find any more agita from this, for this man? You know, I've been a little boisterous, but I've never seen anything escalate to this point. It's embarrassing.
But there's also the,
I know there's a rebuttal to the point. I'd say too much.
Just don't think it's right.
Kevin?
Amen.
I don't feel right about the fine to Mr. Schaefer based on what he's going through.
We should
He
be
tried
giving
to
him a
do
couple
everything.
of bucks.
I think in the beginning, he tried to do everything right. And I don't know how the thing got so far out of hand. Well, like I say, I don't care what DEP thinks. I looked at this, I based my concerns about an emergency in the beginning. It's too bad it wasn't deemed an emergency. I kind of thought it was. I just feel that if there's any way the board can give the Schaefer some relief for this. I mean, they've been through an awful lot, and they're not done. Now that this is at the state it's in, now we have DEP involved, soil now, but now we're looking at something called dredging. I'm just having a problem with that part of it. I look at the whole thing as, hey, I'm sorry that it was not considered an emergency, because I certainly thought it was. And I just appeased to the board to try to work with the Schaefers, in my opinion, as one member.
So even if something's deemed an emergency, you still have to file an after the fact notice of intent. With the
It was
proper
understood.
Granted,
You understood that,
he-
Mr. Schaefer.
he-
Even under the
his time,
emergency,
his
we
time,
had to do an
his time
NOI.
for not doing it, I
No
understand.
So,
I understand the time.
um,
His mother's elderly and
Yeah, no.
situation, and things kind of fall through the cracks. I feel bad for the Shakers, and hopefully we can try to work collectively to try to help them along, and
Everything presented itself that it needed to be replaced. The visuals of it, the inconvenience of parking and not riding over it, not being trustworthy of it. And as Kevin said, it was an emergency. So it
I'm
needed
gonna-
to be done.
I'm gonna reel it
let's
back
get
in.
this done.
Do you have-
Well, I think it is a high fee, like you said, they have been through a lot. And, if there's any way we can somehow reduce some of that for them, I'm all in favor.
I had a question for Dave. You mentioned that it was winter time and that you had to park way far away from the house and it was icy or snowing. Was it the winter before you did the work? Cause I know you did the work like late summer, fall time, and I'm wondering,
The work was done
No,
in December.
when this
November
occurred,
14.
the things that popped up immediately is, okay, we can't get an oil truck over there. I need to find an oil
Mhm.
delivery truck that has a 125-foot hose. Most of them are 75 feet. I was able to do that. Just from a safety standpoint, you don't know how big a void, and so we weren't driving over it. Looking at where my mom was, and we actually tried to get her into hospice twice during the fall because she was having a tough time. But getting her to doctor's appointments, going, if we couldn't have the driveway plowed, it was going to be a problem. And
It didn't yet though.
It didn't?
It was fixed before it snowed,
right,
Okay.
but that was
but
Yeah.
we were
like
looking.
November.
I was just wondering what the time frame was, when you noticed it, asked for the emergency cert, fixed it, and then, because I get a lot of residents that come to me and they're like, I want to do this work, I need help with the NOI, and I'm here to help them. I answer questions on the daily. It is a long process, but I'm not quite sure the 4 months from, November 14th was when you started the work to, March 1st was the last ticket. So I don't know, I maybe would have came in and made an effort to get this submitted and done in that time frame.
You also have, and then you got the 2 months prior from when the phone
When-
call was placed,
yeah.
it was looked at, had the meeting.
So just knowing how helpful Jessica is with the NOI, with residents and me as well, I would just hope that you would have came in sooner and got that help to submit it.
Noted. Do you have anything else? I don't.
No, that's all.
thank you, Laura.
It is unfortunate that it's gotten to this, it has gone this far. And part of getting this far is now the state is heavily involved in this permit.
Heavily.
For reasons that I know why, but I don't know why. It's when you run up the rank at DEP, they're gonna pay attention to your name when it comes in. So I feel that our fine is fair for what has transpired, but I am only one vote. So we can,
Jimmy, could you get to Linda?
I just have a
do you
question.
mind introducing yourself?
Sorry, my name is Linda Mack.
You know the deal.
It doesn't sound like David did anything on purpose.
No.
No,
Well,
this was, maybe it went later, but I would think a reason for finding would be somebody did some work on purpose. They didn't file, they didn't, you know what I mean?
so we had requested him we told him we weren't going to stop the work if he truly felt it was an emergency to proceed.
Yeah.
Obviously, safety is key.
I felt it was.
It was requested of him to file a notice of intent
You're right.
after the fact, Because and I believe you even thought you were going to be able to have it installed sooner. Between the window of us discussing that originally to the window that the pipe was installed was 2 months. 2 months where you could file ahead before the work was done. Then after the work was done was a period of 4 months, 3 months, call it 3.5 months, where we did not receive notice of intent.
But you guys reached out to him and asked him to do it.
Yeah.
I just think, my background, when I was on the commission, I
I
didn't
know.
like to give out fines, but it was always for someone who was, really trying to.
Again, I'm only one vote, and
And so-
I'm only one
and so
vote.
For me, and also for residents in town, I just think it's unreasonable because they're homeowners, and Kevin will tell you that I would mostly focus in on developers because they know better.
So
And I also, lastly, I would say that David, he was a conservation
he was
commissioner.
the chair for a very long
He was for a
time.
very long time, and he knows his stuff. And
He
there's
also
a
has to
reason,
know,
huh?
he also would have known that, that they needed to be dealt with in some kind of a timely fashion.
Yeah.
I was slow.
And that's, and
So
But I
that's,
mean, what was going on in your life? What was,
But
we don't need to get personal,
I'm
but I'm
looking-
sure it was.
I'm looking,
Yeah.
I'm trying to look through that lens
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
Now, with that said, we might be able to obtain some data out of this, which I'm a data person, but we can, the commissioners are free to make a motion on the fine if they see fit, we can vote. And then in terms of the notice of intent, we have to continue it do you want a month? You want to just
Isn't that
the next meeting?
contingent of the DEP number
Well, I believe they're waiting on some data,
quality test for the water?
correct? Yeah.
Well,
Wetland delineation,
I don't, I have to do the grain size distribution
So
analysis.
there's stuff that has to get done.
Leslie Roseman. I'm just thinking maybe when that NOI is submitted, you can just vote to reduce the fine once you actually get it done. And it's just time to think about.
And for now, just.
But I also know.
Huh?
No, that's a good point. But I also know if to have that in the back of my head of, oh my God, I owe.
Oh, well, the finding isn't continuing, is it?
No, no.
Okay, good.
That stopped quite a while ago.
No, we're not that, we're not that bad.
It's,
There's
it's,
no reason to.
So
that's a great idea, just.
we need a motion to continue.
I motion to continue. Can we do any more on that motion? With, where we go with the fine and get this done?
It's up to you. It's up to the commissioners. So you gotta
You
do
want to run
separate.
this
You
one,
gotta,
Kevin, or I will?
Go ahead.
separate.
You want
If you
two
wanna
different
just-
motions
You
for
have
it?
to, yes, please.
First motion, I will. Let's zero this fine out. You know I don't like fines. For what good is it? No one gets anything out of it. Mr. Schaefer, how much more money are you spending for all this, the delineation, all these other parts? The replacement, on and on it goes. I can't for a moment put a nickel on your shoulder. You weren't prompt about it, such is life, nothing we can do. I wanna see, this fine needs to go away. Let's find a way to get
So-
this done.
We have a motion.
Pronto.
Well,
Let's,
we
get through the-
can't make anything go faster.
Let's
I
get, let's
understand.
So
get,
we have a motion on the
get a
table,
motion on the table, I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
discussion.
Yeah, I have anything else.
I couldn't hear that, Pat, what was that?
I said, no, I don't have anything else.
He's
Thank you.
old, he can't.
It's
You have
almost
to yell at him.
completely shot.
There you go.
So we have a motion on the table, no discussion, roll call, vote please.
James Green in favor.
James Gates, no.
Kevin Smith, favor.
Well, I You said what, Kevin?
I'm voting with Jim on this one.
So,
Okay,
yes? It makes it hard.
Yes.
She has to listen to this and
yeah, Pat generally, yes.
Next motion to continue to what meeting? What time, what date?
Autumn, what is,
Will we put that date on the calendar contingent of our DEP number or our quality test
Well,
coming back?
it's gonna be all of the above.
Right.
You
May
know.
22nd is our next meeting, and then after that, it's
you
the
mean
second,
April, yeah, May, oh my God.
We'll
Uh,
definitely
yeah.
never get it from DEP by then.
in 2 weeks is the
We-
next meeting, May
Right, you think 2
22nd.
weeks? will
May
be-
22nd, and then
We can
there's.
get all this together
what's
so we can
June?
be done?
We don't know, hold on.
It's June 12th, is the
13th, okay.
following meeting. So,
You, Mr. Schaefer, what would you prefer?
So June 12th with a question mark?
I haven't been given a firm schedule from GZA.
Okay,
So
do you have a contract with them?
I will have a contract tomorrow.
Now you're in the event is 6 weeks out. Why don't we tentatively
They, yeah, they had to modify it to address the
That's fine.
sampling
To the last
component
of
from
June.
last Friday, and we're trying
Well,
to.
and that's fine.
Can we tentatively
if you
schedule
continue
that,
it
keep it
to,
open to the last meeting in June, June 26th or whenever that one is? That might give him enough time,
When would that, June?
maybe
June
give him enough
12th
time to
is
gather the
the
information, and
after
if not,
And
let's
then the
continue.
26th will be the 2 weeks out.
Fair enough, David?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
26 question mark again.
someone will make motion for June 26th.
It's Kevin's turn.
I'll make a motion to,
June 26th.
move that meeting.
Yeah, because he
hearing
still
out
has
to
to,
June
Right,
26th.
he's got some legwork still now.
Meeting. Contingent on him getting the information from,
DEP
Yes,
file number.
and the DEP file number,
Water,
and the
water.
water
That's
quality
part of the
samples
whole-
from GSSI.
I would think you might review it before that time. And if you make a motion to continue it until then, you should stick to that motion.
So he doesn't have a signed contract.
Right.
Once the signed contract is, which hopefully tomorrow, you still have a window of 6+ weeks, or call it 4 weeks for them to collect the data, then it has to get
It'll have
submitted
to
to
do-
DEP. The DEP isn't gonna issue anything. until they
Anytime
Well,
have-
that's the water quality cert that Dave is working with DEP on. I don't think that the DEP comments from this office are related to the 401 water quality cert comments. Possibly, but
Historically, we
I
haven't
would
issued a notice of,
recommend-
we haven't issued an order of conditions without the water quality.
Without the full.
without, oh, okay, interesting.
Right, right.
I feel that's
We're
a
just saying,
fair timeline to bump it off to at this point,
End of June.
end of
I
June,
agree.
and
Are
then
you okay with that,
may have to
Schaefer?
continue it at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, I mean,
I know you,
I'd like to get these flags located. I'd like to be able
okay,
to.
but are you okay with the June 26th meeting?
Yeah.
I noted your concerns. Pat, do you have any issue?
No, if you just keep us informed of, what's happening, whatever letters or what you get, so we know where this is all
Okay.
going.
I can do that.
So we have motion on the table. We have a second.
Second,
Roll call vote.
James Doran, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Okay, generally, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer.
2.3 OOC extension request EP 308-0666. Jimmy, you get to read this. I'm gonna go through what's up.
Kevin Kemp.
James Gates abstaining from this conversation for 132.
Who what, the OOC?
yeah, the OOC extension request.
On 132, yes. Are
They don't have it, you're gonna have to read it.
Representing that?
No, I don't think so.
No,
No,
I didn't get any information on it. I didn't know he was gonna have to abstain. What do we got going on?
it's just a request to extend it.
yep, the application
I don't have-
is
I
in
don't
the yellow
have it.
folder.
Okay, we're here at 7:45. If it's Gussie, OOC extension request DEP 308-0-666,
Yep, here it is right on
Matt
top.
and Kelly Fournier,
Who's manning the ship at this point?
location 132 Pierce Road. Extension 1, 2, 3 years. So do we know what the time it is going to, oh, so they request the extension for 3 years?
Yep, and
Five, okay,
do we remember the original project at 132 Pierce Road?
I was gonna ask for the refresher.
Yep, house replacement. The house is built. They're now continuing, I think, exterior work, grading.
Grading
and
stone
seating.
walls and
Yup.
such like that.
Yeah,
So
so
it wasn't a
Final-
complete tear
final
down, it was a
landscape.
rehab, the bones were good.
No,
So we-
that was a new lot.
That was a new lot.
It was a new lot.
install.
Okay,
and,
okay,
They built a California style home on that lot.
okay,
And they've done some extensive landscaping and grading and stone walls and fountain ponds and all kinds of stuff, I guess. And
Okay.
I understand they need a little more time. The weather
Yeah.
hasn't been cooperating with them.
all right, but
Yeah.
we're looking at
Last year.
3 years for the extension.
Mhm.
Is that acceptable to the commission? I mean, that's allowable to them, but is there any reason above and beyond? It's just because there is that much work to be
There's a
done?
lot- There's a lot to do there.
They
that plan
filed
on
2
doing.
extensions already,
Okay.
1 year apiece, so
1
I
year,
think
yeah.
the push now is to give them the extra time.
3 years, can't you
Right,
be
yeah,
done with it
yeah.
and move on? Okay, so I'm gonna basically word it is to grant the 3-year extension to 5/22/23, present date to what would be the ending date of the
3 years.
extension? 26, so it would be 5/22,
27,
26,
27. This is
27.
24.
Yep, 27. Okay. We'll put Kevin, you're gonna end up having to do the motion on that. I can't, I'm
You'll have
not
to
the
give it
chair.
to me.
5, so it's right there, 5/22/23, 3 years, just math added on.
I'll make a motion to extend the permit for Matthew Fournier. 3-year extension, the DEP file number 308-0666
Yeah,
at the address of 132 Pierce Road, so that they can finish up their final stone walls, landscaping, and beautification to the lot.
eloquently done,
Which
Kevin.
would be up until June of 27.
5/22/27.
That would be May.
Wait a second on that.
What's that, Pat?
Would be May, isn't it?
Yeah, May, I'm sorry.
We got the 5 anyway.
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second
All right.
James Brian, yes?
Yes, Kevin Smith,
it.
yes,
Definitely, yes.
thank you.
That was a good ship. Thank you.
Are we making Jimmy look bad?
No,
I'm just saying.
and the check has been processed already.
What was it, for 110?
No, it wasn't. It's a
I
less.
just looked at the fee down below at the bottom right. It said 110, unless that was the submit. Yeah, okay. Doesn't matter. You want to give that back to Jimmy so we can put it in the file?
I'll set the 3.0.
Going over work session votes may be taken. 3.1, Stan Dillis, project discussion for Conscom jurisdiction, Starlight Main Street. Dan, come on. Sit at the table.
Come on up and you can sit right there. Tell us how you doing.
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm here for, if you can believe it, advice or input. And just give you a heads up that we're gonna be, this is Starlight Building on Main Street. And this is the far, as you're looking at it, it's the far left side. This part of the building is,
So it's at the southeast corner,
yeah,
southeast side.
yeah, it's across the parking lot, so.
Yeah.
Closest to Gourmet Donut.
Yeah, this is about ready to fall down. This part of the, it's in really bad shape. And this is about 40,000 square feet. The rail trail is here. There's a wetland on the other side of the rail trail. The grading from the building goes down, then it goes back up to the rail trail.
Correct.
This wetland is probably 30 feet below that. There's no habitat.
No.
We'd like to do this with an RDA. Pardon me? Nope. Nope. It's all on the other
It's
side
on-
of the railroad.
It's literally on,
Railroad and rail
it's
trail.
literally on the border.
Right.
There's a section that doesn't have habitat, but then you go down towards Depot Street a little bit more, and then there's like a
It creeps in.
200 foot
Right.
section, then it ends.
They lifted they announced in the video that they lifted the fencing so that some species could access. travel.
The habitat line is on the other side of the.
Yeah, because it,
of the
it,
road.
it ends here, and then it picks up again here, something crazy.
You know, this,
Yeah.
this area is all, it's all
Okay, Kevin,
disturbed, it's parking, it's a building, it's all disturbed. I think it fits perfectly to file it under an RDA, and they're looking to move this process along as quickly as possible, because that building is really in pretty bad shape. And we're getting an opinion from the building inspector that we don't need any other permits, although that's not you guys' jurisdiction, but we don't think we trigger any of the other threshold for any other permits, so. So this would be the only thing, in our opinion, that we need to do, and we'd like to do it with an RDA and not do a full NOI, because that's gonna take 2 months.
Yeah.
By the time
The
it's all said
safety
and done.
concerns of that
okay.
building.
Let's look at the impacts of the wetlands, let's look at the big picture, which, as Stan stated, it's an uphill gradient by 3-4 feet in some sections.
From the building up to the
Yeah.
rail trail, yeah, probably more like
It's
5
more,
or
it's
6.
more than that, Jimmy. There's a,
Well, I know it varies.
Yeah, it-
So,
Right,
when I mow the rail trail, I'm mowing the rail trail, and I'm looking through the fence, and I'm looking down at the building, so everything is down slope, away from the rail trail, back to the building.
Is the building square foot increasing? Is there any increase
no,
in
it's-
fill in that area?
no, it's
It was
just,
mentioned it's gonna be under a decrease. Is it gonna be a little less size?
no, the building's gonna be the same
Same
size,
exact-
So it's gonna maintain the same footprint.
same footprint.
Okay.
how,
No increase in impervious area, nothing, no increase in any impervious area, any new pavement or anything like that. The building's gonna get taken down. The foundation is trash, so they gotta put in a new foundation and then bring the building
How
back
much
How
up.
many of that material is gonna, as you were saying, all
hold
in that?
on, how much material they're gonna have to
Regrade the back
well,
section.
no.
You're gonna have to
No,
take out.
They have to excavate.
Right.
How much do they have to get down, or they haven't done the core sample?
They haven't done that yet. So there will be material that comes out, but it's obviously gonna be taken away. And then new material will be brought in and put
Structural
right back in
gravel,
place.
just structural gravel.
But the elevations will remain the
Will just
same.
stay the same.
Will
Because
those-
this is all integral to the whole building, so it's not gonna go up or down, because
Floor level is the same.
floor
It steps
level is
right
gonna be
in.
the same.
Everything stays the
Right.
same.
So it's very much an existing replacement matter.
Correct.
So-
That's our opinion.
Not a lot of deviation other than the material underneath that
Plus,
is the reason why it's settling.
And the
obviously.
other thing I'd point out is, there's only a small portion of it that's actually even in the buffer zone.
I know, you should.
Yeah,
You
one
change the
tiny-
line colors from. that.
Tiny little
Why would
piece
we?
there.
So Jim's a
So
little
we
upset you used the orange magic marker on that.
So, no, we used.
No, this
the
was, this
rail
came
trail.
from the rail trail.
Right.
This-
We were
this
looking at
wetland
it
edge.
before the meeting started, because, to see what the impact was. Do you have an idea of what the square footage is?
In the buffer zone?
Yeah,
I don't, if I had to
300
guess, it's probably
300 square
maybe
feet.
300 or 400 square
If
feet.
that,
And that's in the outer 50-foot.
Okay.
It's in the hundred.
Yeah,
It's in the 100, but it's in the,
It's just
I got
inside
you.
the hundred.
Right, it's,
Jimmy.
the closest point is probably 75 feet.
And there's a fence there, so
There's
it's
a
not like
fence
they
there.
can get closer to the wetlands.
There's a fence on this side and there's a guardrail on that
And
side.
it's also down, there's absolutely no way anything could ever get,
And again, we will discuss things,
We'll discuss.
whatever.
When we submit the RDA, we'll submit this plan again, we'll show erosion control and all this. I just wanted to,
No
Get some
disruption to the
feedback.
rail trail either, right?
So Pat, do you have,
No.
and I know Jessica warned us that DEP is pushing back on RDAs now, but I think ultimately it's up to the board to make that call anyhow.
we all, yeah, yeah, but,
I see nothing here.
I don't either.
But-
But it's the impacts to the wetlands. That's what we have to look at. It's, we all know,
It would be impossible for there to be any impact to the wetlands that's way over there, because one, you got the existing fence, you're downslope from the high point, it's like there's a dam between the building and the rail trail. I see.
and it's all uphill over here with ledge and
Yeah, there's
power.
nothing, it's a nothing, and you've got a major factor that for some reason people, maybe, you got a safety factor.
Oh, correct.
A major safety factor. It's kind of like, it's almost like the last custom was, in my opinion, but it is
I
what
would
it is.
be interested in seeing where where the groundwater lays in that area, if the foundation is changing, maybe. it could
This is-
alter
This is an existing building.
groundwater in that area.
This
This is
area,
probably 30 feet lower.
I couldn't reach it with,
Yeah,
mulching.
but
The
So-
wetland is probably 30 feet lower than that building.
The reason for failure here, is most likely from, the barrel factory was here. A huge
Yeah.
multi-story building.
Yeah.
100 years ago, it burned. And, I'm sure there was probably parts of that old building that were probably underneath this building. And with all the construction that had happened in there and excavation
They did
throughout the 1800s,
do it right.
when the Fessenden Company was doing their work, and then the previous contractor that did the original stuff in the 60s, it's probably simply compromised, needs to be taken out.
And that
Okay,
that
I
was
would just-
president?
Review
Yeah.
the
Okay.
the determinations on, for the RDA, the negative determinations within an area that isn't just the buffer, because we're in the riverfront area.
No, we're not.
We're not in
No,
part further.
we're
it's
way,
just
way
the
away.
buffer. Okay,
Yeah, no riverfront, no habitat, it's just wetland buffer. And I think it's the perfect, number 3 determination, so. All right, that's all I want to know, so we can get this done and filed.
So,
Just
I-
make a note of the Pandora fact, because when they dig down into that, we don't know what's gonna be in there. We don't know how deep they're gonna have to go.
It's probably just
It's
burned
just-
organic matter, that's what seemed to be
Right.
around the
And
rest
that's
of the
why
site,
it's settling.
and all that stuff.
And that could be a condition of the
Right.
approval.
We found it when we put our storage buildings in from the buildings over there that burned. We found it we found it at the shopping mall when we just did the septic repair.
It's
Right.
that whole area,
And
It's that whole area down through there.
Yeah.
I know.
all wood industry.
Just,
Yep.
as you know, everybody's in a hurry to get things moving. And this, they do need to get this thing moving, because it's,
I'm not going, I've tried to just steer this conversation into, in the correct direction. You guys can go around the table, and if the three of you agree on an RDA or NOI, other than that, I'm not gonna comment on this any further for myself
Mhm.
as a conflict.
Correct.
So,
I don't have a problem with it at all. Knowing the site like I know it.
And let's be cautious about placing that under the reason why it's being done for safety. Let's be careful.
right, it's being done, it needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced because it's falling down.
That's that.
Right.
And it seems
There's
like,
no groundwater issues, we know that
like you said, it's all down
you're
right
looking
here.
at 30-foot elevation drop.
Knows we're not in the riverfront area.
Nope.
We're less than, 400 square feet in
Somewhere
that
in that
particular
general-
buffer,
Yep,
minimal. And
that's what I needed to know.
Pass.
Yeah.
Who's Pat?
Oh, sorry,
How do
Pat.
you feel
I know
about
she doesn't
that?
speak up, but listen, she,
She's a good
really
listener.
upset.
No, I understand what they're saying, and, you know, you don't know until you do start digging and see if there's gonna be any more problems, but as long as it goes well, you know,
Oh, it's gotta go.
and stuff.
But,
And there is, let's get this done kind of attitude.
There is,
Okay.
a lot of ducks have to be lined up here to get this done, so.
And you're the man to do it, Stan.
Well, I'm not lying
Could I make a
about
quick comment, please?
Thank you,
If you
Jessica.
don't mind. Hi, everyone. I guess, Stan, I just want to confirm, and we don't have to do it right now, but maybe tomorrow, the square footage in the buffer.
Yep.
I'm measuring quite a bit more
I
than
don't
300 or
have that
400
number.
square feet,
Yeah.
but otherwise, just for the commissioner's knowledge, and I know that, you know, time is sensitive here. We did talk at the staff level about, you know, how much effort would go into needing to cut off utilities on the inside of the building so that while they're doing, you know, interior work and demo is when, if the commission had decided on a NOI, that whole application process could be ongoing. So interior work could still occur while an application is underway. It's a pretty significant, I understand the gradient and everything. It's just a pretty significant size project for an RDA, which is typically used for, you know, above ground pools and sheds and decks. So just for your consideration.
They also do house lots as well. Linda,
Does anything have to play into the fact that I think it's the aquifer overlay district? Does any permitting, I forget.
Is it in the aqua,
Is it what?
in the aquifer overlay?
well, and then there's the
I
ACDC.
don't believe so. It's,
I mean, I think all along 119 on that side is all the aquifer.
It is.
overlay.
I'm not sure.
Thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
Oh, is that
I could
what
look
that
this stuff up.
Yeah, let's go over and take a look.
It is not in the ACEC.
So you got.
oh, it's not in the ACEC, so.
No.
It's on the other, ACEC is on the other side of the rail trail. I'll check aquifer protection, but aquifer protection is typically ZBA or building commissioner.
Right, and there's no increase in any kind of impervious area, so it wouldn't trigger any thresholds.
Oh, yeah.
No stormwater or anything. Okay.
The parking lot remains as it has always remained.
Right, there's no increase in impervious, especially in the buffer.
Also, it is.
True.
Well, yeah, the whole area is.
All right, I won't take up any more of the time.
Groundwater, it is in groundwater. For the aquifer protection, sorry, not groundwater.
There's no, we're not increasing any impervious. I'll look at if there's any
Yeah, just address
regulations
it.
we trigger there.
Address it.
No, and that's the thing, this is an in-kind.
Yeah, it's an in-kind replacement, yeah.
I think for aquifer protection, if you're doing earth excavation, if it's down 4 feet or something, yeah, Stan, I'd have to look again too, but I think someone mentioned it, stormwater is not triggered based on the
Right.
information provided by the applicant, so.
Right, we've formulated a letter that we're gonna get, the building inspector to weigh in on site, stormwater and site plan.
Mhm.
That he's ultimately the one that's gonna make that determination. So. And I think the trigger for the excavation will be a permanent, if they were just excavating material and bringing it back in, that wouldn't be really a change in grade. It would be if they were lowering the grade, any significant.
That's how I've always understood
Right.
those phrases.
What triggers that?
You're excavating it, but you're replacing.
Yeah,
You're not
there's
doing
absolutely
the
no
volume.
grade changes
If you look
whatsoever.
at it that way, a house foundation would trigger it.
Correct.
If you're changing the grade.
Yeah,
by
you're
more than
changing
4
the
feet.
grade, yeah, that's right.
So, and that doesn't, logically, that makes no sense.
No,
I was Yeah, it doesn't make sense. How does that, with the
I
house?
think, I don't think it specifically says that, but I think when you've done it, as long as I have, you know, you read, you say a grade change of more than 4 feet, you think of a permanent grade change, not a temporary grade change.
I gotcha.
So it's not specifically stated that way, but I'm sure that's the intent.
All right. It's always interesting little tidbits like that.
Right, thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Stan.
Stanley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley.
Drive safe.
Thank you, Jess.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
I don't know if I caught Jess or not. I think she's from church.
Yeah, she's probably listening. Hold
I'm
on.
still here, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. 3.2, 42 and 22 West Meadow Road, determination, clarification, Autumn. I'll let you steer this.
Okay, at the last meeting, there was a -3 determination made for 42 and 22 West Meadow invasive species removal, which is not correct in that Lockbrook is a perennial stream, therefore that's the riverfront area, not a buffer zone. So it's treated differently according to the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetlands bylaws.
So we're gonna go to a -2, or should I just throw my hands up in the air and quit and go to an NOI, or just let the invasives do what they want? Leslie Grabowski.
I would just suggest reading number 2 out loud and see what you think. Read option, negative number 2 and see. Because I'm not really familiar with what all the work you're gonna do. So,
And he's probably gonna be one of the first to pull it off. And hopefully it will be sustainable, but
Right.
Negative determination, number 2, says the work described in the request is within an area subject to jurisdiction under the act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of the notice of intent.
I've seen simple enough.
We're not dredging. I mean, the whole object of this is to get a handle on the invasives. You know, I know Willowbrook long enough, since I was a kid, we're gonna do the work when it's at a 0. I mean, Lockbrook, I hope we're gonna be lucky enough this year, you know, but even last year, she went to a 0 flow a couple of times. So, I mean, with that being said, doesn't matter, I can still work under a -2. You know, it's just,
What invasives are you taking out?
oh, the bittersweet, we've got, with the floral in there, we use a handgun.
Shoot it, blow it up, blow it right on the
What's a handle?
ground. Just kidding.
No,
Oh,
what
you were
we're,
joking.
I had to be with that. I'm trying to lighten up.
Actually, were you thinking of a handgun?
Right, it's,
Hand tools. Hand
we've
tools.
got trees now that are to a point where the vines are as large as my arm coming out of the ground, and
But how do
we
you get
can't
it out?
even pull it out of the ground
That's
with a
what-
So what do you
backhoe
do? What do
and a chain.
How do you get it out?
We grind it, we have to cut it. It's a grinding
Doesn't
situation.
it keeps, I mean, I have. in
That's
my
where
eyes,
we
so
have
I
to,
know.
that's where we
It's
come,
coming.
that's where we're gonna be able to stay after it and go in with the mowing and periodic cleaning and everything.
And Natural River Watershed Association is also doing the planting along it.
At the same
But to answer your question,
No,
um,
not yet. We couldn't do it
to
this year.
help prevent any of the seeds or cuttings
Yeah, yeah.
to fall, one of the special conditions was a turbidity current at the bridge.
Yeah.
To catch
Try to
as much as possible.
Keep it going
It's-
down into the field.
you know,
But the thing
it's
of it
killed
is-
all the trees in there.
I know, it's horrible.
You
It's
know,
horrible.
so
It's traumatic what it's done, but we just cleared 5 acres out though, successfully.
So, Autumn, guide us on how we need to, Kevin, let's,
I guess I'll go back. and say to you, Autumn, should I just go and refile, do it under the NOI?
Well,
I'll
the
stick-
habitat restoration notice of intent. Is that, did I ruin that?
Oh,
Saying-
there is one, yeah.
Yeah, I know there's one for that sort of work. And there's also the abbreviated notice of intent.
Yeah. it just-
That's up to you, Jimmy.
I mean,
Who was the ag
would the stream be
Kevin-
altered
Kevin, too
by
much.
the removal of the trees, changing the water temperature? However, the trees are inundated with the bittersweet.
They're doomed.
Completely tangled with this invasive that I think if we went there and went to see if those trees were leafing out right now, they may not be. They may be, but so the
That's why
effect
people
on the
ask you.
temperature of the stream, maybe those trees may inhibit the growth or the space for the new trees that are going to be planted there in the spring also. So I don't know, how hard is it to maintain that area with your brush hog if you're going through there and
Minimal amount.
maintaining it once it's cleared, so I want to think about the best way to protect the wetland, but also create an environment where these trees that are already permitted to be installed can grow and that area can hopefully not be inundated with invasives, but so that's,
I mean, like I said, and you've seen it, we did close to 5 acres, opened up a beautiful maples.
And most of that
maple
was done by hand.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, it's gonna be by hand, it's gonna be by a multitude of different ways of removal of it. But we're not going in,
So,
Aggressively mowing.
and then there's also the agricultural side of things, because you are in chapter 61, Kevin.
Yeah.
It makes it so hard for poor Autumn to type. Every 2 months or so, I get told I have to tell everyone.
but we are working under both. I am under agriculture, forestry, and 61 agriculture.
With an NRCS farm plan. So
Right.
there-
And they are
if you
coming
feel
out
the
to
need that
see
you
me.
want to retract your RDA and file a notice of intent, so you're a little more covered and it gives you more,
Mhm.
More latitude.
that's your choice. I also
guess
know
what
that
I'm
if you
more
leave those invasives there for another year, they're just gonna grow back more and they're gonna spread and.
Right. I mean, we're poised and ready to go and start. I think I'm gonna stay with the RDA. But as it goes through, maybe by the end of it, can I still flip over into the NOI so we can do a degree of
file
armoring and
separate-
erosion
file
control?
You file separate.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll stay with the RDA.
So I'm gonna make a motion to, and I don't have any of the numbers in front of me. What's the TWB number for?
I didn't bring mine in.
it's 172, I believe. I can look real quick.
And I'm also putting in erosion control socks.
That was part of the
Yeah,
special conditions.
we're gonna start putting them in next week.
So I make a motion to retract the RDA with a -3 determination for 42 and 22 West Meadow Road, TWB 2024-172. For reasons stated previously. Do I have a second?
Second,
Roll call vote. James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Pat Jamali, yes.
James Dorian, yes.
James Dorian.
Diane, that's the-
Yeah, I'm speaking for 22,
Jimmy,
not
you
42.
abstain from that vote?
Yes, I do. Retract.
Thank you.
All words.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to issue a -2 determination for the project at 22 West Meadow Road and 42 West Meadow Road, TWB 2024-172 with the special conditions. We don't have a copy of that, do we, right now? Last meeting.
Yeah, I have it written down. It's in the 4222 West Meadow.
And
On
that
the
was
sticky
for silt control.
No, yep, I'll read it.
Right there, on that sticky note.
No, I got a note.
Making a determination with special conditions to install a turbidity curtain by the bridge, or at the bridge, that will be cleaned and or replaced as needed, and erosion control such as hay bales, silt fence, or wattles to be used in areas, that are being worked on.
Even if the brook is at a zero flow and we do that particular removal, I'll still put the screen in, never mind.
But
I didn't
just
say,
put it in.
I can't believe I said anything.
I'll second
Are there any endangered habitats? Sorry to bring that up. Only that in your conditions you can address it.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
I'm the only thing on West Meadow that's in danger.
No, I'm only saying
Autumn.
because if it's like a trail thing, then there's a time where they need to know.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's the only thing I was thinking. I don't even know if it's there.
The line is right on West Meadow.
But they're-
No.
And I don't know if it'll screw up the project.
No, but
That's what
the
the
ag side of it. I don't know if.
There is no habitat. It's across the street at McGovern's, but not on your side.
We know that.
You mean I don't have any habitat over on my property?
Any
Easy.
known mapped habitat, yes.
Could you bring them across? Could you bring
Yeah,
them?
he brings it
It's
there.
because they just built that new $1,200,000 bridge right there. Now they can just
Is
go
it-
across.
All right, hey,
West Meadow
let's
separates
bring
it.
this together. Let's
Come on.
bring this together. It's
Jimmy.
8:37. So there's no
Thank you for
habitat.
coming in.
Leslie?
They just necessarily aren't aware that the line is there. There is definitely habitat on the other side of the road. So I'm just saying it might be good to put a condition to be alert and aware, because, you know, it's an arbitrary line.
What kind of habitat is over on that side?
An endangered species
It's,
habitat,
It's considered priority
Endangered
habitats of rare species,
which we won't name.
estimated habitats of rare wild.
I know.
So I think that in there, if anything is found, relocate.
an additional special condition.
No, don't just.
No, you just have to do a, yes, that's just a daily sweep.
Maternal suite.
Oh, I do that anyway.
You laugh though, he probably does.
We had the Bobcat 3 days ago on the stone wall at my pond.
So, I'm not gonna reread everything.
Pretty kitty.
It's
I
already
love it.
recorded. We're gonna just
Maybe it's a
include
girl.
a daily sweep for wildlife.
Do that, we'll always do that.
When a commissioner, just want to say this, when a commissioner is involved in something, it's important that you.
But
You know what I mean?
the eyes and the,
You don't look like
it
you're doing
is,
Okay,
and you guys
You
are
made the
welcome to
motion, you
come
made the
down.
yeah,
motion.
so
I'm gonna second
Kevin seconded it.
Oh,
So,
God.
Pat, do you have anything you wanna?
Are you kidding? There's so many voices going on. It's hard to keep track of who's saying
I
what.
hope you keep the good notes.
Yeah, just this.
No, I don't
We all
have
said.
anything I understand.
Okay.
That's fine.
James Gates, in favor.
Kevin Smith in favor.
Pat General favor, yes.
I can't say anything.
Good.
I have to abstain, I
You're
learned.
better off.
Okay, so we are caught up with everything else. Our next meeting is Wednesday, May 22nd and June 12th at 7 PM. I keep forgetting to put both dates in there now. Board of Select Chambers, second floor. The meeting will also be held virtual. Via virtual Zoom, remote in accordance with COVID-19 city meeting guidelines. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 8:39 PM?
Second.
My motion to
Well, make a
adjourn.
motion. Yeah, make the motion.
Come on, Kev. Motion to adjourn.
At 8:39,
8:39. Yep.
Second,
at second.
James Joint, favor.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin,
Is it too late?
say yes.
Yes.
You can still say
Pat
something.
General, yes.
I had some documents for you to sign.